Grampy told him about the tradition. Not too long ago, without any permission, people who looked like us were forced into submission.
So Tiny Bill McGraw is a character I had in a song a number of years ago. The idea was to come up with a children's story that tells a little bit of American history and a little bit of music, and can kind of be a fun thing for kids to do while they're sitting at home, sort of stuck on Zoom class.
Had you ever done anything before that was storytelling aimed at children?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, as you probably know, kids are the toughest audience and the toughest critics around, because if they don't like something, it's pretty clear, their attention will wander, they'll get up and walk out. So you got to be good when you're entertaining children. Did you sort of feel a little pressure because of that?
So I've done something called Blues in the Schools, which is like it's an educational program. Like, I've done it around the world, and it's basically you go into schools and you're telling kids about the history and about music. So I'm familiar enough with what it's like to be live, but making a thing on video is a whole other thing.
And a way we survived to eventual abolition was creating beauty through musical composition.
What was the basic story that you wanted to tell here?
I thought it'd be good if it was a child who wanted to get away from being small and didn't like being small, went to his grandfather, and his grandfather explained to him, well, you don't have to be big to make a big sound. And a big sound is sort of what's important. And then takes him through the history of the music and shows him the instruments and teaches him how to play them to a degree. That like.
One thing about this show is that it gives you an opportunity to show off your talents with a number of different instruments. Did you know right from the beginning that's what you wanted to do? You wanted to bring a lot of musical layers to this?
Yeah, it was important to me to, I think something that gets lost a lot with learning music is that it feels impossible. And I think if you can show one person playing a lot of instruments, you can see that it's actually it's not that impossible at all.
Not impossible at all? Are you skeptical about that statement? Well, consider this. Samuel James taught himself to play the guitar, an instrument he didn't pick up until the age of 24.
It also gave you a chance to weave in strands about American history, about some lessons about where we've been as a country, where we've been as a people, the experiences of different kinds of people. How much did you feel you could bring into that and still keep it entertaining for kids? Because kids don't want to be preached at, they want to be entertained.
History can be boring to kids if it's presented in a boring way. But I think we all know, like if somebody's passionate about something and they're talking about something, you listen.
It's been, in effect, 1 year since the pandemic began, took a terrible toll on musicians who perform live, took a terrible toll on the venues that we all like to go to and musicians want to perform. What are your thoughts on what you see as you look ahead, and what you hope is going to happen in terms of the return of live music?
Venues are the first to close and like the last to open as far as businesses go. And I get scared basically mostly for the generation like behind me that didn't get to debut anything this year and didn't get to tour and didn't get to build. I wonder what the toll of that is, for no new songs on the radio, no new bands touring. Anything kids were like building up into that moment that were ready to break out last year couldn't happen. I don't know. It's scary times.